Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Davion, and I'm joined by Matt
What up?
and Oronde.
What's good?
And today we are continuing our Let's Talk NFL series. And today we are going to talk about, we're continuing in the AFC North. And today we're going to jump right into the Pittsburg Steelers. So, how do we feel the Steelers is going to do? How do you think they're going to start or finish the season? Like, what position in the division?
Third.
Third or fourth?
Third or
I think
fourth.
this is a really tough division.
Yeah.
And I think all these teams are good, honestly. I think it's just going to depend on QB play for this division, especially.
I agree.
So I think they'll probably be a middle ground team, like a mid team, or they might get, one or two extra wins to somehow push them to maybe the playoffs. But yeah, I don't. I just think this division's too top heavy right now for more than two teams to get into the playoffs. So
Yeah,
They also have four
go ahead.
quarterbacks, which is silly. They
yeah,
have the weirdest quarterback room in the league right now.
Wait, who is it?
Mitch, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Tanner Morgan, a rookie.
Oh, well, they created that rule this year where it's like you have to, yeah,
Yeah, you can have a designated fourth quarterback for the game, but it's still weird.
yeah. No, you're right.
Weird quarterback room. Let me correct myself. Tanner Morgan's an undrafted rookie out of Minnesota, I think.
I think that. I mean, dare I say it? I think they'll be worse than the Browns, man. I think, like y'all said, that quarterback play is going to be the most important thing this season. It's going to be the most important thing in like the entire league. And so, watching like this year is going to be hard. Watching these guys, watching that division struggle because you know what Joe Burrow is going to give you. You know what Lamar's going to give you. You got Kenny Pickett, which is a question mark, and you have Deshaun Watson, which is another question mark. And so it's like, what? I think they just don't have enough to compete in this division, and that's why they will be bad. Like divisional games will be obviously some of them will be a toss up just because of how division games run in the NFL. But I don't think it'll be anything to like really be fearful of. I think a lot of these teams should. I think the Steelers should get ready to pack it up and get ready for a long season to come. And also they still have what's the Canada clown.
Oh,
Their offensive coordinator.
Terrible.
So
that's right.
They also have the most unserious wide receiver room as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, why? This is just dumb. I think their best offensive player is Najee Harris, and then Pat Fryermuth, and then Deontay Johnson because he's.
But what sucks about Najee is that they
don't use him.
Exactly. Like
that O line was also just terrible.
Well, yeah, that's
so like you got to cut him some slack.
Well, no, I'm not blaming him for it.
Oh yeah,
at all. I'm blaming their offensive coordinator, Canada. He's terrible, and they know, and the team knows he's terrible.
I don't know why he still has a job.
I don't either. Like, I don't know. Truthfully,
they probably just like him a lot. That has to be it.
Wow.
And I mean, realistically, this team, with their defense, I think they have a top 3 defense in the league. They could easily make the playoffs just based on their defense alone.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. But like again, I think now what we're starting to see is more teams. You need better offenses. You need to score in order to be good in this league. Like if you do not have a good offense, there's no point.
Is it me or did last season we see so many games turn into a shootout and the person with the worst offense lost? Yeah. That's what it was. And
these teams are averaging 25, 30 points a game, which is just ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's going to be tough to do that.
So two things about that. So one, we know Tomlin is going to somehow will the team to 9-win season because it's Mike Tomlin. Yeah. But they kind of have the Patriot problem of an amazing defense that can hold teams to 17 points or less, and then an offense that doesn't put any points up.
That's literally all you guys were last season, weren't you?
That's exactly what we were. It was conflicting because we had, shifting of coordinators in a transition year again, but it was the problem of such a versatile flying around defense that, can score points themselves and hold opposing teams to less points, but
yeah,
you can't win games if you can't score offensively.
Yep.
I agree. So like taking a step forward or further into it, because like I think we all know the seasons are, but the Steelers aren't going to have a good season. They just won't. What should they look forward to doing next season to change this problem?
I think it's Kenny Pickett. I mean,
really,
I don't think they're just gonna give up on him. I'm not saying that, but
they're not gonna pull a Titans for sure.
If he has a piss poor season, they might have to start considering potentially drafting another guy.
Because I don't think they have to do that though, because they didn't use him enough. They didn't let him work. They gave him like a college playbook to work with, and he did the best he could with the also terrible O-line.
No, he's going to his second
year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, he has an entire season. I mean, even if it stinks it up this season, I think he has one more to like really. Because honestly, I think it's Canada that has to go. He has to go.
Canada has to go first. That's for sure.
So until that happens, I think
he'll be the number one.
But also, they have probably the best backup quarterback in the league with Mitch Trubisky, because he could be a starter if he wanted to. He just isn't.
Yeah. But I mean, like, again with Pickett, I think, I don't know. To me, I don't know why I jumped the gun on him so much, but like after that rookie contract, if you just suck, you're a bust. Like that's what I think it is. Like I got to give him at least 4 to 5 years, to prove if they're a bust or not. And hey, he might have a good sophomore season this year, and I'm not saying he won't, but this is a tough division, and your schedule is pretty tough because you play Seattle, you play the Packers, you play the Jaguars. I don't know if the Niners, if that's a preseason game or not. I hope not. But that's week 1 potentially. No, that's not right. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
they open with San Fran, and if San Fran has a quarterback, they win that
easily.
Let's be real. San Francisco's such an interesting team, but they also have an early bye week, which does not help.
No, it doesn't. Oh,
it's just real rough. Honestly, their schedule is kind of rough a little bit. Outside of your freebies in Arizona and maybe Tennessee, I think everybody else
will
probably give them a run for their money.
Maybe the Texans and the Raiders are the freebies too.
I think the real prove it game is if they lose to Green Bay week 10.
Yeah, that's a good one actually.
That's how we know whether this season will be what we think it is.
Yep.
Well, any final thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers for this season?
What a weird team. It doesn't even seem real. Like you look at their quarterbacks. Obviously, they have probably the second best gloved quarterback of all time, and then the worst wide receiver room.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely a weird team. I will say I think they did the best with their draft, with getting Broderick Jones and then scooping up Darnell Washington late in the 3rd round. Realistically, this team hasn't done a lot in the offseason. So I think they'll still be good. I think they'll somehow get those maybe 9 or 10 wins, but they might not even make the playoffs because of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
It's not like the NFC where you can have 3 teams in the same division actually make the playoffs, because the rest of the
with an 8-9 record. Like, don't piss me off.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But yeah, what did I have to say? There was something. Excuse me. Talk about quarterback. Oh, yes. I like Kenny Pickett. I think the kid, there is still a chance for him to be great in this league, or not even great, good. And so I think, once they give him a playbook and an offense that he can run and function with, like a system offense, he'll be fine. But until then, they will stink and they will continue to stink. And so,
and also the Yinzers will love him because he's a homegrown talent. He played in that stadium for years, and so they're gonna root him on. But don't come for me, Steelers fans, when he just doesn't produce because of Mr. Canada. And waste the early part of his career due to bad development.
But I mean, last season they were calling for Canada's head since last season. They just didn't pull the trigger.
Which doesn't make any sense because they haven't actually developed a quarterback in so long, and you give him probably the worst candidate for an offensive coordinator since Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Maybe that's their thinking too. Maybe that's their thinking, that you give them a couple years with Canada and something works. But if it doesn't work this year, then you got to really consider something else. So,
I mean, I think Canada was so close to losing his job last season that he saw his name getting scratched off, and I guess for some reason he prayed to somebody and they didn't pull it. They didn't pull the trigger on Canada, which is disturbing. Really disturbing. Yeah. They should have.
Football gods needs to stop blessing him.
Yes, him and Patricia. They were both two bums, quite frankly. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for listening. If you made it this far, let us know how you think the Steelers are going to do this season. Matt, Oronde, appreciate y'all for joining on as well. I've been your host, Davion. This has been the postgame. Peace.